If you've been using RiversideFM or Squadcast FM to record your podcast every week, whether it's with a co-host or a different guest every week, and you're not already, why aren't you posting that shit to TikTok?
What will your kids think?
In this video, I'm gonna show you the easiest, most streamlined, simplest way that you can post your podcast interviews or little clips of your podcast episodes very easily to TikTok. I'm gonna show you the most easy and simplest way to do it directly from Riverside FM. And then we'll take it up a notch from that, and if you wanna spend a few more minutes with each clip and really add some bells and whistles and make your little clips even more engaging so that they can perform well, not only on TikTok, but also as an Instagram Reel or as a YouTube Short. This is gonna be a really fun video. Let's get right to it. Hey, welcome to the Pod Sound School. I'm Studio Steve. I'm a podcast producer and audio engineer. On our channel every week, we post really helpful videos all about content creation, podcasting, and bringing your online content to the next level. So if you haven't yet, consider subscribing to the channel and come back and visit us every week. So short videos, it's trending, that's the thing. Instagram and YouTube are really pushing the short videos with YouTube Shorts and Instagram with IG Reels, both of which have a really nice algorithm to push your content and actually suggest your videos to people. And TikTok also has this amazingly generous algorithm that will actually show the videos you post to test audiences. And there's no other platform right now that has such a potential of organic growth. So it really is a no-brainer, especially if you're already using a remote recording solution with your podcast to get that podcast onto the talk, man. And why not, while we're at it, post it to YouTube Shorts and post it to Instagram Reels too. I love this idea, and I really think that you should give yourself a TikTok challenge or a Shorts video challenge and see if you can post at least once a day, maybe just 5 days a week, but maybe even 2 or 3 times a day for 60 days and see what happens, collect data. If a certain video starts to perform really well or performs better than others, you can then look at what time of day you posted it, what the topic was all about, or what other features. Were you laughing? Were you screaming? What was it that made that particular video perform better than all your others? And sort of adapt and make more of those styles of videos. It's amazing the reach that you can get for your podcast. It's amazing the new audience members and the new fans that you can find by taking advantage of these trendy algorithms. So hop in there and do it. I really challenge you to do that. And there really is no excuse, like I said, if you're using a remote recording solution. So today I'm gonna hop into Riverside, we're gonna get to it, and I'll show you the most simple way to do this. And that really is just to make clips in Riverside. Riverside makes it really easy to look at your whole interview or your whole podcast episode that you did with your co-host, and then to change the placement of your 2 cameras, and then to also make clips. So you could really just add it as part of your weekly workflow to spend maybe half an hour to an hour after your podcast episode or your podcast session to go through and build a bunch of clips so that you can then use those as your short videos. And then finally, we'll take those clips that we make from Riverside and I'm gonna pull them into Canva Pro, add some spice, add some bells and whistles, maybe some stickers, and most importantly, we can use our brand colors and the fonts that we always use for our brand. And this helps with branding and helps to seem cohesive through all of the social media platforms that our podcast is on. So I'm talking too much, just let's start doing it. I'll meet you over in the computer. How am I gonna do that?
Ah, damn it, Steven, you're losing your mind on camera again. Stop it, Steven, you're embarrassing yourself.
Okay, so here we are in Riverside's dashboards. I'll go to the studio where I can see all of the studio recordings from this session that Veronica and I did. And I'll go to this, remote recording with Veronica. This is where you can manage and record and create clips from all of your recordings, which is really great. And in here at the bottom, we can just download an MP4. We can also download just the WAV for our podcast. You're probably already familiar with that. This is usually how I download stuff because I like everything at the highest quality and I like to throw it into Premiere Pro. But the simplest way that you can do this is to go to editor right here. And from the editor, we can create clips. And look, there's a story dimension or a 9:16 dimension. This is also perfect for TikTok as well. So here you can select tracks. If you only wanted to see one person, or if you wanted to switch the order, you could do that by switching the order here. And then here you can also change the layout. You can round the corners if you want, or have it completely fill the screen. You can also add your own background image. I'll just use this nifty background image right here, but here you could add something branded as well here. So this would be the most simplest way to create a video that you can immediately immediately share. And how you would do that is you would just find and listen to a great spot. And for this illustration, I'll just grab this spot here. I'm not actually gonna take the time to listen through and find it because I don't think that's necessary for this illustration. You can find your beginning spot really easily here, and then you can see that it shows you how much time is selected. So you'll want to keep this less than 60 seconds, and that'll be perfect. And so I'll make like a 52-second clip here, just like that. And then when you're done, you say export. And from export, you have a few options here. You can put it at 4K quality if you want. I think 1080p is fine for this illustration. And then this is the part I really love about creating clips, is the normalize audio levels option right here, and also the remove background noise option. This is really cool because then it's just good to go. It's ready to go. You just export and you can put that 52 seconds directly onto TikTok, onto Reels, and onto YouTube. All three of those platforms have options to add extra bells and whistles directly on the platform. So on TikTok, for example, you can add stickers, fonts, captions, music, all sorts of things like that. And there's all sorts of different strategies people are using to add those kind of things. And also you can do that on Instagram Reels and on YouTube. Or if you wanted to, and you're already familiar with Canva Pro and you use Canva Pro for maybe individual episode artwork or your other social media promotional graphics that you've been using, let's take this clip and throw it into Canva Pro, and I'll show you a few different things that you can do. Maybe it will get your imagination going as far as how you can add fonts and stickers and even stock video. Maybe you mentioned a hippopotamus in your episode. You can throw some stock video of a hippopotamus in there or whatever it is to make your videos even that much more engaging. Canva also has sound effects and it also has music selections that you can use too. So the video editing features have become very impressive and really fun to play with in Canva Pro. So let's hop over there and see what that looks like. Okay, so the test clip is done and now I can download it right here from Riverside, pop over into Canva, and while in Canva I can say create design and type in TikTok video, or since I've recently made one, it's right here. And in TikTok video, of course, as you're familiar with Canva, there are tons of fun templates to get your creative juices flowing. But to start with, I'm gonna go to uploads. I'll say upload media, downloads, I'll select the new file that I just created. And it takes a moment to upload, and now it's uploading. So I just wanna show you some of the features that you can put to use on your own videos. I'm not really gonna spend time editing a perfect video. I just wanna show you the features that Canva has for editing videos to get you inspired. So here I'm gonna name this test video. I always like to name my projects in Canva. Click and drag it to the top left corner here, and now I have the video along the timeline. The first thing I wanna show you that's really cool is anywhere on the timeline, if you press the S key for split, it will split your video. And this is really great if there's a small portion of the video that you'd like there to be a text animation on. So let's say that right here, this little section is where I'd like to bring in a text animation. So I could go to the end and also press split, and now I have a little split section here. Now I'm gonna animate two different things. Something I like to do when I bring text up is to kind of create an overlay over the picture. So to do that, we can come to elements, and from elements, we'll select this square shape. And the square shape I can drag to the entirety of the frame here, and I can use one of our brand colors. And I have my brand colors here. I'll use the black brand color that we use. And then from opacity, I can change the transparency to maybe a 90 or an 80. This way you can still see the video, but it's really gonna help whatever text that we animate on here to pop through. Now you can animate this overlay by clicking on animate here, and there's lots of different ways you can have that overlay come in. I like with an overlay, I typically just like a fade, so it fades in real nice when that happens, and it will also fade out automatically. Now from text, I can just select a heading here and type. So type what you're gonna type, and that's what you want it to say. And then I can also animate this text. So when I have the text highlighted, I can say animate here from Canva, and there's lots of different ways I can bring the text in. And I like that one right there. We'll use this pop, and it will pop the text. So now, as you can see, if I were to play from here, you can watch that animation that we just created with an overlay and a text animation. And then the overlay goes out and the text goes out too, which is great. So let's say right here during this part, we mention a hippopotamus like I mentioned. So I can press the S key there again, and now where there's this plus button, I can insert something else. You can add a transition between any clips, which is really fun, but you can also add a page. So I'm gonna add a page here. I'm gonna go to videos from the left hand. I like to think of this as the toolbar along the left here. And I'm gonna search videos, I'm gonna say hippo and see what comes up. I do have hippopotamus videos, maybe just the hippopotamus mouth here. And then I can actually drag the duration of it by just clicking on the last part of the video. So the video editing program here in Canva is really intuitive and fun. And then finally what we can do is we can actually add audio. And audio, you can add music if you want to, so I could add this music, and you can just drag that anywhere you want on the timeline, and you can start adding multiple audio tracks. So here's one. If we go to sound effects, you can actually search by effects, vocals, instrumentals, but if we go to effects, this is gonna apply this filter and we'll search for sound effects. We could do maybe a funny sound effect, or just to show you, they have lots of funny sound effects. Fart, hard, long, funny. Why don't we throw that fart sound effect underneath the part where we put the hippo in? So we can make that fart just go underneath the hippo, and you can see this is really intuitive. Now I'll bring that here, and now we can watch from here. Maybe we talked about a hippo farting or something, and we can press play and see what happens.
We created the Pod Sound School.
As you can see, there's stock video, sound effects, music, and you can have multiple tracks of music and sound effects all in one video, and you can add your branded fonts. Also, the other thing you can add if you come to Elements that is very popular for people to add on their images is stickers, and from stickers you can say see all. And I like to go from the stickers, usually the trending stickers are a good place to start, and you can just look at what people have been using. So this is a way you can quickly add some extra bells and whistles to your videos, and when you're done, you say share, you download and create an MP4 video. And then finally, when your video is downloaded, what I like to do so that I can get it shared to my phone is I just save it or upload it to a Google Drive. And then from my phone, I can access Drive from my phone and download it to my phone that way, and it's ready to upload to 3 different platforms. Hopefully you found that helpful, Pod Doggy, amazing creator. Leave some comments here, let me know what you thought about this. Also, we have a TikTok channel, come follow us over there. We're constantly doing short, bite-sized videos to help you take your content to another level. We're doing TikTok tutorials, podcasting tutorials, Canva tutorials, all sorts of fun stuff over there. So make sure you come and follow us on TikTok at Pod Sound School. Also, if you haven't been using a remote recording solution, you can try out Riverside for free by going to podsoundschool.com/Riverside, and I will leave that link right where you're watching this video. Thanks for tuning in today, and we'll catch you next week for another amazing Pod Sound School video. What's up, girl? I'm right in the middle of recording. She interrupted me again. Why do you always get all psycho when you interrupt me? She's not usually like that. Ah, that one. You see, the reason I've lost my neck is because of these 3 women that you see on the camera right now.